Coming up on Colonial Sports Center, the women's basketball team was fighting for the right to go on to the NCAA tournament against Sacred Heart.
And our very own Adeline Burdine sits down with the senior class of the men's hockey team to get their perspective on the last 4 seasons.
All that and much more coming up on Colonial Sports Center. Welcome to another edition of Colonial Sports Center. I'm Dan Kitchen.
And I'm Kristen Kudla.
We had a bunch of teams in action today fighting for the right to advance in their respective tournaments.
Yes, and we're going to start off with the women's basketball team who, after last week defeating Wagner, continued their road trip as they took on Sacred Heart Pioneers in what might possibly be the last game for not only for the seniors, but also for head coach Sal Biscaglia. Could they push his season just one game further? To the highlights we go to find out. Now we're going to start off here 2 minutes into the game. Anna-Nikki Samalamprou is going to steal the ball, gets the breakaway opportunity, and gets the layup. Her only 2 points of the first half. Now Lou Matali is going to get an opportunity here as she passes down to Hannah Smith. Now she's going to kick it out over, and Ravelli launches the 3. Now Ravelli had a fire game that day as she was sinking 3s all over the place. Now Adisha Williams is going to try to make a play here, but right out, kicks it out to Hannah Kimmel, the NEC Player of the Year, who sinks a 3, says anything you can do, I can do better. Well, Shelby Hickey drives it, and she's gonna pull it back, but right there, Leah Warmack breaks up the pass, and she hands it off to Samalamprou, who brings it up, calms down the play a little bit, but she's gonna kick it out to Ashley Ravelli, who holds it, launches it, and sinks the 3. Like I said, it was 3 city for her. Now going on into the second quarter, Sacred Heart runs baseline play here, and she's going to kick it out to Kelsey Castro, who launches a 3 from NBA range, and she ties the game up at 23. A very back and forth action here. Now Jocelyn Jones fights for 2 under the hoop, and that would be what the Colonials needed. Going into the third quarter here, Megan Smith has the ball over the head pass out to Matali, who launches it for the 3. Now RMU is going to be up by 2. Ravelli finds Warmack at the wing, and she has a nice little jumper there to extend RMU's lead. Nia Adams shows off her skills this time as she drives to the hoop for 2. Now here's where things get a little sticky. It's the fourth quarter, you got 12.6 seconds left, you're up by 2, and your leading scorer is Anna-Nikki Samalamprou is out of the game. But here's your head captain, Ashley Ravelli, is at the line for 2, and she's going to make these 2 clutch free throws to extend the Colonials' lead. Now 2.2 seconds left. Janae Brown puts the icing on the cake as she makes a free throw, and now Sacred Heart here is going to try to make a last-ditch effort as a way across the court shot goes right off the rim. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Sal Biscaglia is not done yet, as he's going to stamp his ticket to the NCAA tournament and claim his another NEC title. Now, great job for the Colonials as they would move on to the NCAA March Madness tournament after they were able to defeat the Pioneers with a final score of 56-51. Senior Ashley Ravelli led overall with 14 points, just 1 more than NEC Player of the Year, Hannah Kimmel. RMU completely shut down Kimmel in the second half, and their persistence and second chance opportunities helped to push RMU to their second NEC title in 3 years. Now, Dan, getting an NEC title as these seniors, this is going to be their second one in their 4 years here. It's pretty exciting, but another thing that's super exciting is finding out who you get to play against in the NCAA tournament. Now, RMU reached out to the student body, invited them to the All-Star Sports Bar and Grill in Robinson, and we were able to sit down with just a few of the players to get their perspective on their foe.
Your team are very similar when it comes to like everybody, have the same like opportunity to like score and everything. Each player, we don't have one player that we go to every time. Anna-Nikki is our best scorer, absolutely. She's amazing. She's our best player. But when it comes to crunch time, we can go to anybody. We have 5 players on the court at all times that can all score, they can all play defense, they can all rebound, and they can all, contribute and give something to the team.
I know they're the best team in the country, in the nation, but, you never know. It's basketball. We're going to practice, work hard, and do our best.
All right, now Kristen, they're going up against UConn, best team in women's basketball history collegiately. What can they take out of that Sacred Heart game, some strengths perhaps, that will help them do what they can to contend with UConn in their game?
Well, Ashley Ravelli said it herself. That is a team that works together, and it's going to be real interesting to see how they can carry that into the NCAA tournament.
All right, well, switching over to men's hockey, the men's hockey team entered their first round tournament against Bentley, riding a huge wave of momentum after having more players named to the AHC All-Conference teams than any other school. The Colonials had members represented on all 3 conference teams. Top 10 scorers nationally Greg Gibson and Zach Lynch represented the Colonials on the first team after becoming 2 of just 16 players to record at least 20 goals and assists this season. On the second team for the Colonials was Tyson Wilson, one of the leading scorers amongst defensemen in college hockey, and the third team had Colonials Brandon Denham, Chase Golightly, and Terry Schaefer on the roster. RMU's 6 honorees were easily more than the second-place school RIT, who had only 3. While the Colonials may have dominated the all-conference teams, their opponents in the Atlantic Hockey Tournament, Bentley, had some talent on the roster as well, and first-teamer Max French and second-teamer and captain Andrew Gladiuk, showing that the Falcons would be no easy win for RMU. And we have some clips from that first game against Bentley, and RMU was heavily favored entering the game, and Terry Schaefer saw plenty of shots like this one the entire evening, making that save right there to keep it tied. Zach Lynch was doing what he does better than anyone in the nation, gets a shorthanded opportunity, fools the goaltender into the back of the net. Colonials up 1-0. Unfortunately for them, Bentley was very good at answering the rest of the day. As you see, Lynch fools the goaltender, wide open net to work with, and he's not going to miss that. Best in the nation on the shorthanded opportunities. But Bentley got an answer here as a clapper from the point from Matt Bloomquist, past Terry Schaefer, and just like that, we're tied up once again under 12 minutes in the first period. And Bentley's not content to be tied. They're going to get Max French there. Mentioned him earlier on the AHC team. Beats Terry Schaefer, shows why here in that nomination. Bentley up 2-1 entering the second period. Now, second period, each team got a goal, and RMU's came from Timmy Moore on a tough follow shot right there. Poor angle. He does what he can. He doesn't give up on the play. He gets a poor angle, and he roofs it on the goaltender, making it 2-2. Bentley would score again in the second, 3-2, entering the final period. And in that final period, the Colonials, they don't want to go down. They don't want to go down in the first game. That means it's do or die for the rest of the series, and they're going to get a goal from Matt Cope. Unlikely scorer there. Is usually known for being the one who agitates the other team. Sends one at the goal, goes past him. 3-3 Colonials. Unfortunately, Bentley answered one final time, and it came off the stick of first-teamer Max French. Second goal of the game, and he is able to send the Colonials home down 1-0 in the series. And they ended that game stunned after dropping it by a score of 4-3. They received consistent shooting throughout the game, netting 1 goal in each of the 3 periods off the sticks of Zach Lynch, Timmy Moore, and Matt Cope. Unfortunately for Robert Morris, the team they surrendered the game winner to, Max French, just 38 seconds after tying the game themselves, and they were not able to capitalize on multiple late-game scoring opportunities. Now, Robert Morris was completely surprised in that first game, and that meant they were playing do or die for the final 2 games of the series if they wanted to move on to the next round of the AHC tournament. After the break, we're going to show you whether or not Robert Morris was able to right the ship and keep their season alive.
Need more RMU sports in your life? Check out Colonial Sports Network Live this Saturday as your Robert Morris Colonial men's lacrosse team faces off against Sacred Heart. Broadcast starts at 1 p.m. on www.necfrontrow.com.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
To Maddie.
Congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
And welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. After falling to 8th-seeded Bentley Friday, the RMU men's hockey team had to get their act together and win out if they wanted to force a crucial Game 3 in the AHC tournament. We're going to travel down to the 84 Lumber Arena to find out how they did and could they come back. And then Zach Lynch here dumps it in and it's going to get picked up by Timmy Moore. Now he's going to pass off to Brady Ferguson, who fights through traffic and goes 5-hole on Bentley. And we're going to go here for the replay, and that was his first goal of the night, his 12th of the season. Great play by Ferguson. Now going into the second period, Ferguson once again passes it, but this time he doesn't get the shot. Now Timmy Moore is going to get it back to Ferguson, and he scores his second. Now that's on a very, very sharp angle there. As you see Moore, he comes around, decides not to shoot, swings back, passes it off to Ferguson, a very, very sharp angle, makes it 2-0 RMU. Now later in the same period, Brandon Denham gets the breakaway opportunity and tallies one more on RMU's lead, making it 3-0. Now that's going to be his 21st goal of the season. Now 4:40 left in the second. Bentley tries to make a late push when Max French's shot is deflected by Cody Pork to make it 3-1. Now a minute later, Timmy Moore gets the unassisted opportunity to make it to extend RMU's lead, and what a play by the sophomore. It was the sophomore's time to stand out as both Brady Ferguson and Timmy Moore rose to the occasion in the 4-1 victory. Colonials snapped back into action as the defense only allowed 22 shots on senior goaltender Terry Schaefer, who only allowed 1 goal in the victory.
With that win, the Colonials forced a crucial Game 3 where they not only fought to stay alive, but also for a trip to Rochester to take on Army. Colonials are going to have to fight hard there. They had a game against the Bentley Falcons that didn't go well, one that did, and in the hole early in the second, the puck moves to the front of that, and Daniel Levins hacking at it, and the goaltender lets it slide through. Goaltender stops it there. He's going to poke at it once, twice, and you're going to see it just trickle into the net. And at that point, the floodgates open for the Colonials because Levins gets there once again. He gets around the net and just flips it up and over the goaltender. Goaltender didn't even have time to react to that. Levins taking it right off the faceoff. And then the first pass here on this one isn't important. Denham gets it to David Friedman, and then Friedman embarrasses that goaltender, has him do a face plant on the ice right there trying to stop it, and then he just has to look up as Friedman flips it over and in for the Colonials. At that point, it was all Colonials for the rest of the game, minus a couple of Bentley spots here and there that just made the score look a little prettier at the end. And Friedman's not done yet. He wants 2 goals like Levins. He'll put a little more heat on this one, and if you look closely on this replay, all you're going to see is the net move a little bit because Friedman had enough heat on that you can't even see the puck there. And it was just a bad day for the goaltender. They chased him again, and there's some familiar faces. Greg Gibson and Zach Lynch. Gibson draws all the defenders over, leaves Lynch wide open in front of the net, and Lynch has a lot of space there to work from. And then Bentley had some offense at the end of the game, but it, again, just made the score look a little bit better in a lopsided loss. And they had another chance coming up, but Terry Schaefer, he plays till the final whistle, robs a goal from Derek Bacon. And watch this. This looks like something you'd see on SportsCenter. If it wasn't, it probably should have been, because there's a wide open net for Bacon, and then all of a sudden, Schaefer's glove appears, and the goal disappears. And just to cap things off, Chase Golightly gets a late goal to wrap things up for RMU, and that's a 6-2 victory and another week added on to their season. 6-3 after Bentley added this goal at the literal final second, but RMU is on to face the Army Black Knights in the AHC tournament after that overwhelming streak of offense propelled them to a win over Bentley in the deciding game. Colonials scored 5 of their 6 goals in a span of just over 10 minutes, getting 2 each from Daniel Levins and David Friedman in that frame. After struggling to beat goaltender Gabe Antoni in Game 1, this was the second straight game RMU was able to chase him from the net.
Senior Greg Gibson, Brandon Denham, and Zach Lynch were all nominated for the Hobie Baker Award earlier this season, but with the season winding down, so are the standings. Zach Lynch was named a top 10 finalist for the award, being the second player to achieve this honor as a Colonial. Lynch currently leads all active players on the team in career scoring with 153 points, averaging at least 1 point per game. Second phase fan voting starts today and runs until the 27th, so make sure to show your support for Lynch by voting at the Hobie Baker Facebook page. Now, they've had a quite successful season thus far, and we're going to take a look at the brackets here as the men's hockey team goes into Rochester to find out how they're going to do. Now, it's going to be really interesting. They're going to go off against Army, and the winner of that is going to go into the Final Four. Dan, what do you think is going to happen here?
Well, right now I think that it's going to end up being RMU versus RIT in the next round because these two teams want to play each other again. RMU wants to be able to play Rochester in that final in Rochester and be able to knock them off and make it farther in the season. But I think there's going to be one problem there, and that is Terry Schaefer in net and the defense supporting him, because you saw in Game 1 they let him down and RMU wasn't able to contend with Bentley, a team that they had no business losing to, and that's something they're going to have to face against a better Army offense than what they saw last weekend.
However, you also have to consider that it's a team that has had such success as of late, they have to have at least one bad game. But Terry Schaefer, he's going to Rochester. That's his home. He's even quoted to say he's going to have 40 Schaefers there in the stands showing their support. Now, he's coming in here with a .930 save percentage, and so he's going to be that crucial player to find out how they're going to do.
Exactly, and then you're going to want the defense and the offense supporting him as well. Need goals from Greg Gibson, Zach Lynch to keep it going, as well as the defense supporting him from in front.
The men's lacrosse team traveled to Milwaukee this past weekend as they were the wrap up of conference play as they faced off against Marquette. The Colonials fell to the Golden Eagles by a final score of 13-5. Sophomore attack Adrian Torque-Orban and senior midfielder James Ray led RMU in goals with 2 apiece, while junior midfielder Alexander Boyle led RMU in points with 3 assists in the game. RMU returns to Joe Walton Stadium Saturday to open NEC action.
The Colonials have used multiple goalkeepers throughout the season thus far, but may have found a more permanent answer after one of them was honored by the NEC this week. Freshman Alex Heger earned Rookie of the Week honors after earning the overtime victory over Mercer in his first career start. Heger has appeared in 6 of the 7 official games for RMU this season and has yet to allow the most goals for RMU in any game he has split time in.
After winning their last 2 games, the women's lacrosse team took to Campbell in Game 6 of the season. The Colonials fell to the Camels 13-6. Dana Davis opened up the game with her 9th goal of the season, while the game was very back and forth for the first 12 minutes of the game. Campbell came out strong in the second half, scoring 3 goals in just a few minutes. RMU opens conference play at home this weekend as they take on Sacred Heart at 1.
The Colonials have one of their busiest weekends yet, playing 6 games in 3 days down in Boca Raton, Florida in the Parents Weekend Tournament. RMU split their games over the course of the weekend, recording 3 wins and 3 losses each. The Colonials games were highlighted by one matchup with a nationally ranked team, the 17th ranked Minnesota Golden Gophers. RMU pulled off the upset behind a dominant pitching performance from Caitlin Elzy, one of several she had in those 3 days. Offensively, the Colonials were led by outfielder Ashley Gearhart and infielder Jordan Gerganis. Gearhart had 6 hits and a team-leading 5 RBIs, and Gerganis led her squad with 10 hits, including 3 games with 3 hits each. RMU also ended their series with suspense, taking their final 2 games into an extra frame, going 1-1 to split those 2.
Caitlin Azel's clutch performance against the Golden Gophers helped her earn her a pair of honors for the NEC this past Monday. Elzy's earned both Pitcher of the Week as well as Rookie of the Week, her first honors of her career as a Colonial. The freshman standout posted a 0.59 ERA in the tournament and didn't allow an extra base hit all weekend. Ellie is the first freshman to be named NEC Pitcher of the Week in over 3 years. It also marks the 9th season where RMU has had a student athlete honored in the league's Pitcher of the Week category, making it the longest active streak in conference.
All right, coming up after the break, our own Adeline Burdine sat down with the winningest class in RMU hockey history to get some perspectives on their 4 years here at school.
And later on in the show, we look at the upcoming schedule in athletics. All that and more.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
to try?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
No siempre es fácil ser padre,
Do you have panda asthma too? Does that run in the family?
This is the home of the most priceless kung fu artifacts.
pero cuando haces un esfuerzo,
Dad, we're not supposed to touch anything.
Oh, sorry. Go long, son!
siempre vale la pena.
Whoa, faster!
Los momentos más pequeños pueden tener un gran impacto en la vida de un niño. Toma el tiempo hoy para ser papá.
I am gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
Llama al 877-4DAD-411 o visita fatherhood.gov para obtener más información.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
And welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. Now, after winning against Bentley this weekend, it made RMU's men's senior class for the hockey team the most winningest class in school history. Our very own Adeline Burdine sat down with them to talk the past 4 years, as well as Rochester.
84 wins is pretty special. It's a lot of wins, and they don't come easy in this league.
I love this.
There have been a lot of great players that have been at RMU before us. It speaks to the legacy we're going to leave behind.
Our bond that we have, I mean, any team, in order to play well, you have to get along, and that's something that we've done a really good job of. But also, I mean, they've done a really good job of getting good players in, and when there's good players, good things happen.
Got our confidence, winning that championship the second year, and I think since then we just kind of took off.
The guys that did it last year, that were the winningest class last year, it was hard to top those guys. They had a great class and did a lot of things for the program. I mean, it's awesome. There's 9 of us that are the winningest class now at RMU.
For me, at the end of the day, it's more about just the memories and the guys that I've met along the way. A lot of these guys in my class are going to be lifelong friends.
Won the Three Rivers Classic twice, Atlantic Hockey twice, and now going into playoffs. How does all of that make you feel?
I mean, it's special, but it means nothing. I think that those are special moments, and I enjoyed those times, and those are things that you can look back at and enjoy. But right now, that's not what it's about. It's about coming up these next few games and trying to win as many as we can.
Great group of guys we've been playing with these last couple years. So we've accomplished a lot. We expect to accomplish a little bit more, but we're pretty proud of what we've done so far. But we're definitely not done yet.
I think every single guy that's in the senior class has been a catalyst for pushing this program. I think RMU as a whole, just with the Three Rivers Classic and Pittsburgh hosting the Frozen Four the 1 year, I think we got a lot of exposure, and we get better recruits now and small things like that.
How does it feel to possibly be playing some of your last hockey games?
Scary. It's pretty wild to think about that this could just about be the end, and it is the end of my college career coming up. So I mean, it's just different. It's been 4 years at the same exact place, and now going forward, there's going to be so many unknowns. It's scary to think about, but it's exciting as well.
It's kind of bittersweet. I mean, we all obviously kind of plan to play pro after this, but for it to be our last college experience here, coming down the road, it's tough, but it's fun looking back on the 4 years we had.
I don't even want to say it's bittersweet. It's tough. It's tough to think about, but we're gonna. I believe in my team here, so we're gonna go on a long run, and we're not done yet. So whether I know my college career is coming to an end. Whether I have an opportunity after this, the future. That's what the future will tell. So. Clinch there in Canisius, it kind of lifted a weight off our shoulders coming back here for senior night, so we can just kind of relax and enjoy that night, especially for us 9 seniors.
Senior night comes with a lot of emotion, and it would be really hard to handle that, knowing that we have to get those 2 points in order to clinch. So combining those together, it was nice just to be able to kind of play a game for fun.
It's great to have all the families here and, you know, really go through that process, and then also win that game. That was just the cherry on top. So it was just a great weekend and a magical night.
I mean, we've all been there before. We've been to Rochester twice now, so I don't think there's too much stress on us going into Rochester down the road here. But well, hopefully we can do some great things.
You know, as seniors now, so we just want to win the rest of the year and you know, finish on top before we graduate.
I think that we've had our ups and downs, but right now we're right where we need to be, and if we can continue to keep that rolling, that will be very successful going forward.
Rochester is my hometown. My whole family is there. I got a great group of people, so we're gonna have 40 or 50 Schaefer supporters in the crowd. So it's gonna be pretty wild, and I'm really looking forward to it.
We're not done yet, basically. It's a huge honor to win the league. You battle all year for it, but they know we're not done yet, and it's another checkpoint on our way to the Frozen Four.
We're not done. Win all those trophies along the way, but the only one you want is the one at the end. You want to win your last game of the season.
All right, Kristen. Well, it's not often you see a group of people that size come in and stick with each other for all 4 years and have the success that this senior class has had. And what do you think some of their best moments from their 4 years here at RMU probably were, outside of the ones they mentioned on package?
I don't know if I can even talk about that, because as somebody who's covered the team in the past 4 years and been able to see that, seeing them win the Three Rivers Classic the very first time was an amazing thing to see. And then once again this year, getting up the championship and everything they've accomplished has just been great for them.
And you think that senior class, that experience will help them get through their next round against Army?
Oh, absolutely. And well, you're going to have to stay tuned next week where we will have all the highlights for that and more. But coming up after the break, we're going to have the upcoming schedule, so you don't want to miss it. Stay tuned.
These boys are my heroes. They come every week to spend time with my children.
At Robert Morris University, every student is expected to reach out to others.
They can teach them something no one else can.
Wisconsin.
They're role models to the children, and homework comes way before sports. Their grades have improved, and their lives are just a bit richer. What they do for my kids is truly wonderful.
Change someone's life. It changes yours forever. Robert Morris University.
I call them my lifeline.
People don't realize how quickly you can end up on the street. One thing happens in your life, medical bills you can't pay, you lose your job, and that's it.
At Robert Morris University, every student is expected to reach out to others.
We went to DC to work with the homeless. They sell a newspaper called Street Sense. Thought I'd help.
But if you want to give more, you can.
This person came up to me and said, "Get a job." And for 2 hours, I felt what it was like to be homeless.
Good morning. $1 help.
Some of the other students said, "How can we change this?" And I said, "Sometimes you can't change the world, but you may be able to change one person's world." My dream? Open a psych clinic for people on the street.
Change someone's life. It changes yours forever. Robert Morris University.
All right, multiple teams are going to be in action the following week trying to continue their seasons and playoff tournaments. Let's go ahead and look at the upcoming games, see when they'll be in action.
Now, a lot of exciting things happening this weekend. We talked about it. We have the women's hockey and then women's basketball as well. But Friday, March 18th, softball versus Northern Illinois. That game's going to be at noon. And then you have softball versus UNCG at 2:30 p.m. And then men's hockey, of course, one of the highlights of this weekend against Army.
And then Saturday, softball will be in action against Northern Illinois once again and against University of North Carolina Greensboro later in the day. Women's basketball will play UConn, and the men's team will play hockey against Army one more time.
And thank you everybody for watching, and especially thank you Adeline Burdine for sitting down with the boys. Make sure to stay next week.
For more highlights on Columbus Sports Center.